Everybody, welcome to Twiztidmurphy's Gaming channel. We are doing a live stream of our character Jax here. So a little backstory, if you haven't been following. What am I trying to say? So yeah, main concept of this character is he's from 2025. He's a Master Sergeant Sniper, retired Marine, works as a salesman, selling cars in his normal life, and he also owns his own farmland where he cares for pigs, chickens, and yeah, that's basically it, besides, like dogs and stuff. But whole concept of him is I wanted to kind of, make some sense of being able to, farm, grow crops, breed animals like we do in Ark, and also, all the building we do. Because let's face it, a regular person in today's times who doesn't have carpentry experience would never be able to do that and would have a really hard time growing their own crops. So I wanted to give a little backstory so that, it made a little sense. And I also did this for myself to kind of help get me back into Ark. One second. But yeah, whole idea was to get me back into Ark, which it's helping. I would say the biggest struggle with doing like this kind of roleplay character, which I've only done one other time, and it was pretty easy just because I focused it on Rockwell, and the whole idea was for him to kind of figure out that he's Rockwell. And in that story, I made him fight himself on Ab. That's about as far as I got. But once he fought himself, he he had just prior to that, he figured out that he was Rockwell. And after he destroyed himself in Aberration, he told himself that he was gonna, stop his kind of like malicious, evil ways. He didn't want to be the person that he had become, before. If that makes sense. So he kind of, he changed his ways. Started trying to be more of a survivor rather than rule the, Ark. But Jax's story, he's a regular person, just like most of the journals that we find in the game. He's trying to figure out why he's here, what brought him here, and how and even if he can ever go home. Which, as we know, it's truly impossible to go home, because how this game works is, they, find your remains, or you're kind of like preserved. They clone you, put your thoughts and everything into your, body. I don't know how the hell you would ever do that, but yeah, that's how they do that in Ark. And then that's what puts you here, and that's why certain characters can respawn. Obviously, all of us can, but not. It seems like not every character in the story can respawn. And my character so far hasn't died, surprisingly, because I have fought 2 Spinos already. Or kind of. I ran away from them and tried to create distractions so I didn't die. At one point we had an evil looking elephant over there that I ended up tracking, or not tracking, but having him chase me down into that cove. And a lot of the times we have Spinos spawning in there. So I had that Spino and him go at it, and the Spino obviously won. But I have had one die off in that coast right there, a low level. Probably from like a fish somehow. I don't know how, but yeah. How a spinal loses the fish, don't ask. But, so yeah. And then I had another one that was running up on my base. And I didn't have as many spikes as I do now. This is now to prevent them from getting in here. But he died right here. Caught in my spike trap. Which was lucky, because originally I had a house right here. But now I have moved the main house to the back. So that if they do attack, realistically they're going to hit that first, and then here. And hopefully by that time I can either get in the raft and get out of here, so nothing else gets destroyed. And our main, reserves are in that base. Which I do have a lot of them in this smithy down here. So, that's risk, but realistically it'd be harder for him to get fully in here before getting distracted by something. My character still has no idea what these loot drops are. I think I'm going to touch base on that in the next storytelling I do. So I do write kind of, I wouldn't say day-to-day, but I'm trying to post them daily, but almost like his day-to-day life. So I end up doing sort of like a journal entry where he goes on about what he's been doing, trying to figure out why he's here and kind of what's going on. I dramatize, the fights. So for instance, when that elephant was attacking, I created a story where I met my tribe mate down that riverbed, and as we were kind of bickering back and forth on whether we could trust each other, an elephant came stampeding through the trees, and she ended up hopping on the boat. We ran back to my base, and then I distracted the elephant by bringing him over to the spina. And in my most recent tale, we talked about how that Spino nearly destroyed my base. But luckily, he died right at the gates. And I made that way more dramatic than it was, because I was just kind of standing off in the distance, hoping he wouldn't make it through. Instead, I acted like instead in the story, I said that, we were trying to fight him off, distract him, and, lured him into the spikes. Well, that's kind of where we're at so far. Today's game plan, I'm going to have him create his guns, which he already has. But I'm going to kind of create a tale on what leads him to it. Jack's here, he's a military sniper, master sergeant. He was in the military for over, I don't know, I didn't really give a year date, but he started at 18. I think I said he stopped around 24, 26. So he was in the military for about 6 to 8 years. So he definitely has a lot of knowledge. A lot of, tactical skills, I would say. And, skills in, defense, setting up perimeters. Most military people have some minor knowledge in farming and stuff like that, building, so that helps a lot too. But one thing I find that would be tough to ever explain is how a person would know how to do all this stuff. Use a fabricator to make friggin' AC units. I can tell you, I would never be able to do that. I mean, I have a little understanding of how electronics work, but trying to assemble it all myself, create a computer chip, electronics and stuff, yeah, good luck. So essentially, I'm going to have his next tale kind of explain how he's able to do all this with not really having prior experience. And I'm almost going to say it's almost like he's tapping into a collective mind, not really like a hive mind, but information that he never had before. Which, realistically, since you're in a place like this, they clone you. They give you either those memories or that knowledge of being able to, craft guns, craft electronics, and that's kind of where I'm gonna go with that. Definitely not a hive mind. I don't want it to come off like that because that'd be kind of weird, and that just wouldn't make sense to Ark. And then the after game plan is we're gonna start searching around the Ark. At this time, he thinks obelisks are likely like a city, like some alien city or whatever. He hasn't seen one yet, so he doesn't know that they're floating. But, even being from 2025, you could believe that, in the future, they would be able to create some type of anti-gravity thing to be able to make structures float. Be kind of cool, actually. We would take up less land space, and depending on the, what the technology took. But also, if it failed, uh-oh. But yeah. If you guys ever have any suggestions on how I should kind of do these streams, let me know, because I'm not, used to this stuff. I'm usually a solo player, don't really engage much in, online chatter, especially, talking to my mic. I tend to prefer not to use the mic, honestly, so trying to get out of my comfort zone with this stuff. Yeah. But I do own this server. It's called Middle Earth Chronicles. I forget how I get to that, but I can't remember how to bring it up. But yeah, I'm the server owner. My name's Twiztidmurphy. On Discord, you'll find me as Anatar, because it is a kind of Lord of the Rings themed, not roleplay, but theme server. So yeah, we have an admin store and a whole bunch of fun dino mods and other mods. It is kind of a thick mod list. We have probably around 50 mods, but as you see, I'm on PS5, which usually is one of the most buggiest systems on these servers, and lately it's been running really well. I recently added 3 variant types. I added, I think it's called BioShift, and then it's an M-class variant. I forget the exact name of it, but they're kind of like a pinkish purple. And then also the, oh shoot, what's the other one called? Paleo. I added 2 of the Paleo variant types. The big list, and then I did the new herbivore they had, and that's Spino. I didn't really want to do the Rexes because they overtake your regular Rexes, which I didn't want to, mess up the regular Rex types. I guess I should probably start casting straight on the face. It's hard for me to multitask when I'm sitting here talking because I tend to talk my way through what I'm trying to do. ADHD is a real pain in the butt. Also, I will likely swear randomly. I do my best not to because I would like this to be, kid-friendly if possible. Since it's not just us, old folk playing these games. Let's see. Alright, if I'm after guns, I should really focus on metal. Now, the hardest thing I have trying to do role-playing is, I want to kind of get in the character, but I'm sort of afraid to get in the character through streaming, because I'm going to say something in the story, and then I'm going to, change it in writing, and then my stream's just going to kind of seem weird. But my game plan is, regardless with doing these streams, is to not get past my minutes. That's why I do my best not to actually like take stuff out of the loot drops. I obviously open them. I try not to. I try not to actually take stuff out of them, just because I feel like it's kind of breaking the story basis. Since I haven't explained, you know, his curiosity with them and why they're there, what they're doing. In his mind, they're at the moment dangerous. He has kind of looked it over a little bit. Like, I never realized that they had like they kind of look fleshy on the inside and metal on the outside, which I thought was interesting, almost like they're living. So I think what I'm going to try to like play out is have him kind of think that they're either mining for resources with those things, because he has seen them disappear, which he can't explain that because they just kind of vaporize, which would be hard to explain if they're gathering resources. But regardless, they're holding their body intact when they you know, disappear. So maybe it's some sort of teleportation system, you know. And that's kind of the you know, what I'm trying to get about my character. You know, the confusion, like, what is this mystery? You know, not understanding really what's going on. When he figures out there's items inside of him, and it's almost like a well, that's what it is, but a supply drop. That's gonna kind of throw him through a hoop, because I've already found a sniper rifle on one of them, and I did take it out because he's a sniper. So I'm gonna, you know, first loot drop I have him take, I'm gonna say that he found a sniper rifle inside of it. Someone must be looking out, knowing that he is a sniper and feels naked without it. His hardest thing will be getting ammo for it, though, because I don't have a fabricator yet. But, you know, that's kind of the game plan. Today, I'm going to focus on ammo. Or do my best to focus on ammo. I get distracted really easy in Ark. But, my biggest habits are breeding and building. I am a big addict for building. That's the game plan. Hopefully you guys can't hear Deadpool in the background. If you can, I apologize. And as I thought, I've been talking this whole time, and I don't think anyone heard a single word I've said this whole stream. God dang it. Well, I don't know if anything was heard, but, yeah. Crap. Oh, let's see. Fudge. That's a bugger. Oh no, okay.
Of being able to, craft guns, craft electronics. And that's kind of where I'm going to go with that. Definitely not a hype. I don't want to come up with it.
I'm just currently watching what I was able to say, and
Just what makes sense. They would be able to create some type of anti-gravity to be able to make structures float. Kind of cool, actually. You take the rest of land space, depending on the, what the technology took. But also, if it failed, But if you guys ever have any suggestions on how I should kind of do these streams, let me know, because I'm not used to this stuff. I'm usually a solo player, don't really game server. And lately it's been the new herbivore they had, and that's Spino. In his mind, they're at the moment being inside of it. That's going to kind of throw me through the hoop. Because I've already found a sniper rifle on one of them. I did take it out because he's a sniper. So I'm going to, the person who dropped, I have him take. I'm going to say that he found a sniper rifle inside of it. Someone must be looking out, knowing that he is a sniper and feels naked without it. His hardest thing will be getting me ammo, though, because I don't have a fabricator yet. But, that's kind of the game plan. Today, I'm going to focus on ammo. Do my best to focus on ammo. I get distracted really easy in art, but my biggest habits are reading and building. I am a big addict for building. That's the game plan.
my headset died at some point. I don't know why.
If you can, apologize.
Well, either way, if my headset didn't die or if it did die, I mean, I heard a beep right then, so it probably did, but I don't kind of know where I left off before I died, but as I said before, we're just kind of focusing on, building, getting ammo. Take that out.
Johnny told us you're a psychotic, megalomaniacal asshole. That's where it's not mine. Hellbent, domination, and pain.
You said all that about me.
No. I mean, I'm saying it yourself, Johnny.
Watching Deadpool in the background. I've only watched the Wolverine one once, but forget how comical it is. As you guys see, I'm a big fan of these Magna Geckos. I think they're super cool. They have to be like one of my, favorite shoulder tames. And then I have another one, which is like this, spiked little beetle thing. They're super cool. They shoot spikes out of their backs when a predator attacks you, up to a certain size. And it'll make the dino run away from you, kind of like a yuddy yell. They're fun. Homeboy needs to eat. Can't have him starve to death. He's never died before. Don't know how I'll explain that stuff. But yeah,
It's gonna destroy my universe, and I'm gonna stop
this is the inside base. I made this, or my little like corner base, cave base, main base, whatever it is. I mean, it's kind of our starter spot. I totally forgot you're following me. Would you get over here, please? And but we're starting off here. I'm trying to not do my normal mega build and try to make it look like he, a community style build. He's not, us playing. He's an actual person, so try to make it realistic. This is the boathouse. I kind of like this. It started off from like one of these. It was, what was it? Where is it? Where's the templates? Create mode. Oh, I forget how to get to the list. Bear with me here. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Right there. So it's a pirate fishing hut. If I can speak English today. Lord. And then what I did, I need to go remake my hatchet. What I did was all this is it. That was kind of the base build, except I added to the bottom, made it so nothing could get underneath. I then added this bridge, or boat launch, I should say, or dock. I guess it's more of a dock than a boat launch. But yeah, made this dock so I could park my rafts here. Obviously, that big bugger I got out there, I can't bring in here, but I like it. It looks cool. Added to its aesthetics just a little bit. I need to paint it because it already has half that roof painted, but the rest of it isn't, because that's what it comes with. That's how it comes. I try to make where the forge is realistic, because I wouldn't want to forge on wood. Very likely going to burn. Just like how we put our stoves, like a wood stove on metal. Yeah. And then I built this little I wouldn't say little, but this gazebo. This is where you craft everything. I know I had my mortal and pestle at the other spot, but it's easier just to bring it over here because I already have everything crafting over here. Where are you? Thank you. I'm gonna have to pause this and rewind it. Watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and some of the scenes I almost don't remember, like the female Xavier. Super interesting. Oh, what am I trying to do here? I think I'm just gonna I'll put it in crafting, I think. Oh, but he needs weight too. I kind of go excessive on my weight. I know most people, they like a low weight. I don't know why. All this stuff's so heavy, but it also makes sense because, realistically, would he be carrying all this stuff on him? No. I mean, how in the heck would you just walk around with 30 things of foundation like this? You wouldn't. Your dinosaurs would be carrying them. I'm also a big believer in cosmetics. I love my skins. I have bought way too many of them. Most of these skins are premium skins, but I love them. I especially like these, the tribal ones. They look more realistic to the game. I just got this one just because I like the kind of the steampunk weaponry. I'm not sure why, but my headset keeps turning off. And it has plenty of battery, so maybe it's because I'm not wearing it properly. I had it around my neck, but I'm talking, so you think I would recognize I'm here. But yeah, this is the story of Jax. I think I've talked enough for the stream. I know nobody's watching at the moment, but hopefully people will in the future. So if you touch back to this video, I'd like some, some chatter from me, so it's not just a boring video of me running around my base aimlessly, not really doing anything. But I'm gonna turn my mic off for a bit. Continue watching Deadpool. I'm probably gonna step out and smoke a cancer stick. And then I'll be back. Kinda get my weaponry going. I have this rule for myself. I'm gonna probably keep like bantering on for a bit here, like I always do. Get distracted, get on to another subject, and never stop talking. Anyway, I have a rule for my character here. So, as we know, especially on these servers where stuff's increased, it's pretty easy to knock out a dino with a bow, especially since we can upgrade them on this server. So my upgrade station's right over here. If you guys have never seen this, this is pretty freaking awesome. This has to be one of my favorite mods. So you look here, like how would you upgrade that? It doesn't make sense. I don't see anything in line. All I gotta do is add the equipment, click on it, upgrade. Certain things you can imbue, which is basically, if you don't know what that means, because I don't know what it means you can give them perks. So if I did this, I can imbue that, and it'll give it a perk like increase health, extra damage, stuff like that. That's another mod we have here. Unfortunately, he recently abandoned it, which kind of sucks. I'm hoping it doesn't go away. I'm hoping he comes back and it'll update it in the future, or so let someone like buy it off him. It's a super cool mod though. It's called Nanona. I can't pronounce Nanoa items. It almost sounds like Noah items, but I don't think it's pronounced that way. It's Nanaoh. Super cool mod though. It's based off how many dinos you kill. I have 2 of them from him. One of them is for saddles, and one of them is for items. I like both of them just as much, but honestly, the items is a little bit better. On my other character, on Val, he has a full suit of tech armor that he found. Doesn't have the greatest like boost. You can't like put element in it and jump up. At least I don't think so. I've never tried. But the benefit I get from that armor is I get an increased drop rate when killing dinos, so I'm more likely to see them fall. I would show how you get to that, but I don't want to show my admin password because that would be very smart of me. That's pretty cool. I don't know why she has that Dillo wandering. It is certainly gonna get eaten. But it's fun. I enjoy Ark. I've always loved it. I tend to get too addicted to it, and that's kind of why I try to step away for a minute there. That's probably what you guys didn't hear, is I probably got muted when I started talking about my old server. But, so, yeah. Server's been going for a year. We just had our year anniversary. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to go on a banter and get distracted and I'll step away. But yeah, we just had our year anniversary. We started, I think, back in November 15th. I really didn't get it fully launched, honestly, until, I think, the middle of December. Or first week of December. It took me a little bit to perfect my settings, and I didn't want to actually invite people into my island map until I had that perfected. It was right before Extinction launched, because I remember I opened that I think we had 3 maps going or 4 maps going. I can't remember. We did have, I think, almost up to 16 at one point, but it was just too much, and we didn't have enough funds coming in, so I let go of 6 of them. I think it slowly kept dropping down. Remember, I think after 16, 14 to 12, then 10. Or, I think it was 14, then 10. Because we had a mass migration, and when I did that, I dropped a few. But now, all our maps are above 100 days. No fear of anything closing. No need to swap maps. Back then, when I did do that, I think it was back in August. The reason being was because we had so many bugs from when they, did that big update back in June when RAG came out. And, oh man, it just made servers a mess. And we kept having random issues. I honestly haven't noticed most of those issues since I fixed it. Or at least I think I fixed it. There's no true telling. But, luckily, most of my players really didn't lose anything. The only people who did were the folks who, weren't really playing. And, they weren't paying attention to the chat. I gave folks, I think, about 2 months heads up. I think I started the announcement back in July, and then I did it September, right around the beginning of September. But, yeah, I mean, it was pretty chill for the most part. Most people were understanding about it. It did help the server, so I was happy about that. And it's been pretty smooth since. I mean, every now and then when they do their big updates, it gets a little buggy, a little laggy. I get kicked a little more often, but it really hasn't been bad lately. I'm on PS5 and this runs for good. But yeah, so on me running this server, so I used to run another server back during the Ark Survival days. I started off back, I think it was right before Scorched Earth came out, because I think it had just launched on the PS5. It was, their beta. And, beta stayed out forever. Most of us remember who started playing Ark back in the day. Which is crazy to think that was 10 years ago. So I was probably freaking like 22, 21 when it started. Yeah, probably around 22, 23. And, but yeah. Man, I've been addicted to this game on and off. As we all know, Ark's a love-hate relationship. But, yeah. But yeah, as you see, I also I get distracted. I have ADHD, and I easily get distracted and kind of start talking about other stuff as I'm trying to explain the story. But, so yeah, we started this server a year ago. I used to run 2 other servers beforehand. My first server was not Middle Earth Chronicles, that's what this is. Was Council of 9, back during the survival days. It went well. It was a good server. It's still going, which I'm pretty happy about. I want to say like 5, 6, 7 years later. So I think that's crazy that it's still going. I don't think it's nearly the size it used to be, because back in the day, it was on survival, and then I think when they went from survival to ascended, people dropped off, just like they have in general with ascended. We don't nearly have the populations we used to have. But the population we do have are pretty dedicated players. Like, the people on my server, they might not be super active, but they are dedicated. They enjoy, the server. They want to keep their stuff up. They assist with keeping, the maps going, which I appreciate. And any donations that I get through my Discord always go straight to the server. I even have it so people can donate straight to Neutrado in case they're, hesitant. Not that I'm trying to advertise donations. I'm not doing that at all. This is all for fun. These videos I do. This is all to get me back into Ark. Create a little more fun. But yeah, so back when I started Middle Earth, Council of 9, I think I ran it for about a year, and it was just a little much. People were a lot more toxic back then. If anyone has any advice on how to stop my Turtle Beach headset from constantly turning off after like 10-20 minutes, I would love some information. Actually, this is what I might do. You guys probably can't hear me right now. Sorry. Let's try doing that. There we go. Alright, I think I may have fixed it. I put the volume in my headset, so it might stay awake more often. I don't know why it has a sleep timer on it. But yeah. So yeah, when I started Council of 9, I didn't really know what I was doing when I started it, because the only thing I had ran before was my PS5. Oh, that is one big saber tooth. No. That's not what I want to do. But I ran it on 2 PS4s at the time. And I remember, it's just like I think it's called a dedicated server. And I'd run one on one of my PS4s, and then on the other one I'd play it. So I think I had a PS4 Pro to run my server, so it ran well, and then a PS4 to be able to play on. Beforehand, I was playing on other people's servers who, did the same thing, except I ran into this one dude, and he was cool for like, I want to say like a month or two. And then all of a sudden he must have got bored or wanted to like shut the servers down. So he acted like someone hacked the server. Came in, started just dropping golems, summoning wyverns from the sky, and just making them attack everybody's base. And I remember I was like super fumed because I had just built this like pretty big base back then. Like I maxed out all my structures. And I had like all my wyverns inside. It was harder to get everything back then, so you really worked for it. And then this a-hole comes in and just basically destroys everyone's stuff. And we all start from nothing. I remember we were trying to fight him off. Like we were each going to each other's base trying to fight him off, and it was a fail. It was like God was attacking you. Like, you're not gonna win. But you can laugh back on it, but during the time, oh man, we were fuming. So yeah, that's what stopped me from wanting to play on other people's servers at that time. And as you guys know, owners close their servers left and right. I've even been hesitant to close this server before, actually a couple times, just because sometimes it can become overwhelming. You just want to play the game, and you're constantly having to fix stuff. That a lot of the time is, Ark's fault itself or Nitrato's fault. So that sucks. It just adds more burden to the owners and admins. But luckily, since I was finally willing to bring on an admin, that's helped a lot. That's definitely taken a lot of the burden off my shoulder. Allows me to step away when I need to, when I'm getting either too addicted to it or too annoyed. So that's nice. So I don't really see this server going anywhere anytime soon. I have a feeling it'll stay up for a while. I mean, we have over 100 days left on most of our maps, so if we didn't even receive any more donations, we're going to last almost another 6 months. So that's pretty cool. What else? But yeah, so I started with Council of 9. From Council of 9, I passed it down to 2 of my admins, and they ran it from there because I was just over. I would pop on every now and then and play, but I was just over, running stuff. And I remember, I think I came back like a year later, and I wanted to, get ownership back, and they utterly refused. Which during that time, I didn't really understand why, because I started it. It was originally mine, even though the Nitrato account was mine. It was under my username. Sorry. But yeah, it was under my username. And, yeah, they just refused, which now I understand. They were afraid that, all this work they're putting in, I'm going to end up abandoning it again and possibly just shutting it down or just taking everybody's money, whatever they thought was going to happen. And they've been putting all that work in for over a year, so. You know, I understand nowadays, but back then I was pretty salty about it. So then I opened what I called then a Pirate's Paradise. It was very similar to my Council of Nine account, and I think it was PvE PvP. So we had PvE rules, but ran on PvP maps, so we could still like pick up dinos, kill your tribe mates if you want to, be able to kill babies, which can't really kill babies on here, and that's annoying. I mean, I can, but my dinos can't, and I wish, you know, I would prefer it to almost be the other way around, but it is what it is. If anyone knows like a way around that on PvE, I would love that information. I don't know if it's something I can type in on the web interface. I mean, I'm pretty knowledgeable when it comes to owning and running servers, but there's also things that, you know, I'm just not super fancy with. I've never been a coder. I understand how to put code into my game INI and all that, but there are certain things I'm just not super fancy with. But yeah. So yeah, I started Pirate's Paradise. Basically the same thing happened. I started it. I realized, you know, what the heck am I doing? Like, why did I start this up? I felt bad too because I had all these guys who followed me from Council of Nine because you know they all liked me and everything. They trusted me. And then I opened Pirate's Paradise and I did the same thing. Except this time I was unwilling to pass it down. So, you know, it just kind of died out. I told them, hey, you know, I'm shutting it down, blah, blah, blah. I think I let it run for the time being till, like, it just ran out of time. But everybody wanted, like, you know, there's a couple people who had just recently donated, and the money was already put into the maps, and I told them, hey, you know, there's nothing I can do. Nitrado, it doesn't, like, refund. And, yeah, they were pretty upset. Which, you know, is understandable, and I felt bad for that. That's why nowadays, on this server, I let people donate directly to Nitrado, so that they know it's going directly to the maps, because a lot of the people during that time thought I was just pocketing their cash, and then there was no time left in the maps, which wasn't the case. I was just sick of running it. Too much stuff going on in life back then. Which is kind of funny, because life's even more busy now, but it's easier to, you know, put up with the bullshit. Sorry, the BS than it was back then. But then, a few years passed, Ascended came out. I was playing on my old server on Council of Nine. You know, the new owners who aren't the owners before me, you know, it's been passed down to a few people. They're pretty chill. They're a couple of, I think they're Southerners or mid, you know, on the East Coast. I can't completely remember. They're pretty chill guys, though. It became more of an adult server, though. Which, I mean, my server's pretty adult-like. At least the Discord is. But I try to have people keep things PG on the actual server. That's why I'm trying not to swear on my streams. Because I also want kids to be able to watch us. I want kids to be able to play on the server. I tell parents who play on my Discord, who play on my server but are on my Discord, like, my rules are, everybody can get a starter. Adults have to be on the Discord. Kids, they don't have to be. Especially if they're too young, I would almost prefer them not to be. Because we do make some crude jokes, not like anything bad, but, you know, more adult-appropriate jokes. And just come, you know, like, more swearing and stuff like that. It's not excessive, but, you know, people do swear. So I just don't, you know, want kids to be around like they have to be. What am I trying to say? Yeah, but we, you know, we give starters to kids, regardless. I just ask that there has to be someone on the server that can give updates, let them know if anything's, like, going on, like, if there's a big update going on and we have to shut the server down for the day. that doesn't really happen very often, but just like stuff like that. Being able to know the rules of the server. Which, since we're full PvE, I mean, there's really not a lot. My biggest rule is one big base. Which, I won't lie, as the owner, I kind of like break that rule. But, I try to like tribe up with my admin. And, you know, I tell him, you know, you obviously don't have to stay in my base. We both can have our own base. Even if we weren't tribed up. And that's not my admin, by the way. Even if we weren't tribed up, we would still have two different bases. So that's kind of why I do that. And on this playthrough, I'm probably going to have more bases because I want this to be more realistic. I want him to have places to go if he's going back down south. But if players need the spot, I'm a pretty flexible dude. So I'd probably just open the spot and make a new home somewhere else. As we know, moving is very easy on Ark, and as an admin, I can do it pretty freaking quick. Only thing that sucks is now admin panel's gone, so it's not as easy to do my duties. But I prioritize on no admin abuse. I mean, me and my admin, we will, you know, we spawn stuff for ourselves once in a great while, but we don't do excessive stuff. I don't go giving people free stuff randomly. I'm against that. I'm against favorites. I mean, I won't lie, I do have a little bit slight more favoritism to people who donate, because they're actually, you know, trying to keep the server going and caring about its, you know, financial integrity. But I don't hold it against other players who don't. Just essentially what I mean by that is I'm more opt to help a player who donates if they lost all their stuff. And especially if they have proof. Someone who, you know, doesn't help out, doesn't have proof. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to help you because A, I need proof, and yeah, I wouldn't say like they're not helping out and stop me, but the biggest thing is proof. And even then, I mean, I've been flexible before, and like, maybe I won't give them everything they're asking for, but I'll give them, you know, a few things out of the list. We have a seed system called bushberry seeds. I'll show you what they look like. They almost look like a strawberry. That's what they remind me of. What time is it? 8:30. But yeah, they look like a strawberry. Let's see, I think they're in here. Right here. That's our currency. You can't plant them, you can eat them. Eating them will just kind of be throwing away money, basically, or eating money. Which I guess we all do that anyway, because we spend money on food, so that's eating money. But yeah, eating the seeds is just kind of throwing money down the drain. Seeds can be used to buy dinos, BPs, builds, resources. Actually, I don't know builds, but I know resources are. I think I might have like a stack pack or something that I sell. BPs, materials. I think I try to sell materials more than builds, if I remember correctly. But our store is not super active, which is kind of a bummer. But also a nice thing at the same time as an admin. Most people usually, what they do is they, when they donate, because I have tier lists. It's kind of like a little package for donating, kind of like a thank you gift. And so they make a list of what they want, and most people will either spend all their seeds there, spend what they need, and they kind of forget. But I think, like I am, a lot of us don't like getting all that stuff at once, because it kind of beats the point of the frickin' game. Like, if I have everything, tamed everything, own everything I need, what is the point of playing? And that's kind of where I was getting a minute ago, because I literally had everything. So now we're back to having basic stuff, so that's better in the long end, or long run. But yeah, this is Middle Earth Chronicles. We're playing as Jackson Moore. aka Jax. I had one person comment, "Oh, dude, just nonchalant ripping off Mortal Kombat." Like, not really. Yeah, I might have took his first name and nickname, but it's a far-fetched claim from ripping off Mortal Kombat because besides being in the military, he's really nothing like Jax Briggs. He's a salesman, you know, and is like you know, away from military duty, and works on a farm. He didn't have his arms ripped off by one of the Mortal Kombat characters. I forget the dude's name. The dude with the laser eye. Well, I think he's had his arm ripped off by a few different people, actually, if I remember right. Because I remember Sub-Zero frozen at one point. Oh, wait, no, that is what happened in the movie. Anyway, sorry. I'm going down a rabbit hole again. But yeah, he has nothing really to do with Jackson Briggs. I just like the nickname Jax. And when I was trying to come up with a bunch of names, that just kind of... Jackson seemed to fit the best, and it took me forever to find a good name, so I wanted more. I was almost going to do Jackson Smith, but it just doesn't go well together, I guess. But yeah, so... This is Jackson Moore, aka Jax. That's why you see his player name's Master Sergeant Jax. By the way, that's a skin. The military pants. No, that's not an actual firearm I have on me. It's just the skin of it. I wish I had that on me at the moment. It'd be nice to have a 45. Which I can make them on this game. We have a gun mod, a few gun mods. I think 2 gun mods, and they're nice. I think one of them's something ammunition or something like that, or not ammunition because that's GTA, but something of that sort. And then you have 2 other gun mods from another fella. I just can't remember the name. If anyone's interested in the mod layout, though, let me know. I can do a stream on just what I have for mods. So, actually, I'm about to log off for a second and take a break. So why don't I do that now? Give me 1 second. I'll go through our mods. And I'll kind of show you like what we got going here. And then I'll show you the skins that I have. And then I'm gonna step outside and take a break. Probably make myself dinner. I'll probably continue streaming, but I might not talk, so I'm going to start a whole new stream. But yeah, this is the story of Jax. Today's been nonchalant. I don't even know if I'll do a story for today. I already have another story lined up where he's going to talk about the loot drops. So that's probably the story I'll tell tomorrow when I write it up. If you're curious where to find my tales, I have them on Discord. I post them on one of my channels on there all the time. I haven't been doing it like in a daily rhythm. When I have them, I post everything at once. So today I posted 2 different stories. I think it was like day 59 and day 65 or something. Yeah, he's 2 months in now. He just recently was attacked by a Spino, as you heard in the beginning of the video. Over there. He didn't get actually hit, but when I chased that elephant down that ridge, I nearly died. Yeah, one more swipe from that guy and I was gonna die. I think I was in the red, bleeding all over. Luckily, oh, that was a different time. That wasn't the elephant fight. I had to chase him down because he was up in my base here, so I tried to lure him away. And the guy just right on my tail, slashing at me. Cut my back up real bad, nearly killed me. Luckily, there was a Bronto up in the hills over there in those trees. So, I lured him over to that Bronto. And, you know, they went to town. And he stopped attacking me, which was good, because then I was going to have to explain how he died, which I didn't really know how to tell that tale. I'm kind of between saying it's a nightmare, or at least I'll have him think it's a nightmare at first. But the weird thing is he's going to notice that he has no weapons on him, or none of his stuff on him. And then if it was ever by a herbivore or the environment, he'll be able to run back up on his body, and that'll be awkward. I mean, imagine if you were like today, you died, you wake up tomorrow, you walk in your bedroom, and there's your body on your bed, or like on the floor in the bathroom, like, or you like choked to death eating dinner. And you wake up the next morning in your bed and you go out to the kitchen table and there's you face down in your bowl of cereal or something. Well, that would be weird. It's almost like a Deadpool time variant thing. Oh yeah, I'm getting distracted again. I think I literally just said 15 minutes ago that I was going to log off. And now I just said it again. But yeah, I'm about to log off. I'm going to show you guys my mods. I'm just going to do it now because I'm just going to keep talking and getting on a tangent if I don't. As I said before, though, I've never done streaming before. I don't usually talk on the mic. I kind of feel like I'm just talking to myself because I know no one's watching at the moment, but people might watch in the future. But if anybody has any advice, I would definitely love to take it. I'm trying to kind of figure out how to do these videos where they do like actual walkthrough on the character. Playing as him. I'm just a little worried to play like that, in fear that I may do a different story in the stream than I'm gonna write. So, I don't want inconsistencies. Anyway, though, on to the mods. So, as you see, I have 7 pages of mods. I think 6 pages are our regular mods, so we have about 50 mods on our map, on our server. A couple maps have just a couple different things in them. So like Astros, I have the Astros ships versus the Klinger ferry. Yeah, for server owners, spawn blocker, super handy. I use this to limit my spawns. It helps a lot with like my game like loading, lag, and all that. It's nice because I thought I might have more info here. But you literally get a list, and you can either block the spawn completely or limit them. I think you can do the same thing on Beacon, but I wasn't able to figure it out, and I just find that even more handy because I can just do it right in the game, save it, and I would say it works 95% of the time. I have found a few dinos in the past that it just wouldn't work on for some reason. I think it was due to the mod. But I think everybody currently it works on. It didn't used to work on the Jurassic Park dinos, where the Indominus, the Indominus Rex and Indominus Raptor. Where are they? It's Overseer. Right there, yeah, the Moro. It didn't used to work for them. There was a while there where they would still spawn in, but I think it does now. But anyway, on to the mods. So, Klinger Additional. Always love this mod. It's a great building mod. I know we have so many skins that we have available, which a lot of the times makes having all these building mods not necessary. But there's certain things in this that you can't get out of skin mods, so I wanted to keep that. So we also have the additional structures over there. This little guy you saw on my base, he's the Magna Gecko. They are super cute. They drop their tail when being attacked, so that it's meant to lure the predator to the tail as the gecko gets away for you when he's on your back. And you either drop the tail. I think he might drop the tail when you are attacked, but you can also physically ask him to drop the tail. You'll see the tail drop on the ground. There'll be like a green mist around it, and that brings a dino to it. Sparky, one of my favorite dragon mods. This guy's super cool. I have one named Smaug that I've had for a while now. Oh yeah, that's what I want to show you. But they have level trees. So my guy, I think he has all of that, I want to say. Or maybe he has up to the flamethrower. Have all this. Or most of this, most of that. He is level 26, 28, right around there. Each level gets you points into these. So that says skill cost 0 because he already has it. But I think that one was like 7. The further down you get, the more costly they get. But they do take a while to level up. That's why I have not abandoned mine when doing like new plays. He's currently sitting in an old base, which I plan on moving down the road here. Let's see. Let's make sure this thing's still online. Okay. Sorry, I just have to check this headset and make sure it's not off since I'm not playing anymore. What am I trying to say? So these are more mods. Shiny Dino, super cool. Explorer Notes Tracker only works on the story maps. The other maps it's pointless to have on, so most of the time I try to make sure it is disabled. But super handy. Helps you track the notes if you want to. Something that you can turn on if you want, or don't have to turn on if you don't want. Some people will be like, "Oh, this is too easy." Then don't use it. Simple as that. Like, there's a lot of things on here. Yeah, it's going to make the game easier, but it's up to you if you want to utilize it. Just like our cryo freezer. Our cryo freezer will get resources for you, but you don't have to allow it to. It's kind of nice at times, but at the same time, like, it just makes the game too easy. I have it. I have utilized it plenty of times. I think I'm utilizing it right now on Aberration and Val. Or maybe not Val anymore. I think I got rid of it on Val. I turned the settings off. But it's just too easy. Makes it so you don't have to go out and get resources. I'm already kind of a base camper, so it makes it very boring for me once my base is fully built. And View Station, I already showed you guys this. This is where you can upgrade your gear. I don't allow blueprints because I think that would be way too easy for people, because you can just upgrade your gear to Ascendant, then make a blueprint out of that Ascendant item, and then you're freaking set for life. So I avoid that. I disabled that part of it, but you can upgrade all your gear. It does get a little costly when you get close to the Ascendant area. But yeah, you can upgrade all your gear, weapons and stuff. I love it. Makes it so these, because they're harder to find in drops and around the map. That's why I only have certain drops modded. So our white, green, and blue drops are modded drops, which tend to be the crappier of all drops. Then our yellow, purple, and red are non-modded. Same with like cave drops; those are all non-modded. Because the idea is you're already going to get increased gear and all those. The loadout may be not as much, but I also don't want you to get 10 freaking Mastercraft different sets of guns in one drop. So, but in those drops you can find actual modded weapons. We have the Cliff and Weapon Western, additional munitions. I think I got rid of the other one, unfortunately. May have to bring it back, but basically everything that was in that mod is here. So, I don't know. I'll have to see. I can't remember if I got rid of it or not. I almost think that was during the Purge. Back in August that I mentioned earlier in this stream. Alpha Oceanic platforms. That one's pretty cool. I don't utilize these ones as much because I notice on PlayStation they're a lot more buggy. But my PC players love them. It makes it so you don't have to use as much like build space. I also have a terrain one as well. It's pretty cool. And the auto engrams, I could set this up through Beacon, but it's just easier having the mod. Your stack multiplier. Most of you guys that are familiar with unofficial servers, you know exactly what that is. This guy's cool. He's kind of like, what would I call him? A hyena lion, I would say. Super big, but he's pretty cool, nonetheless. Dirt Dino Finder, very nice mod. Allows you to find dinos on the map. This is, again, something that if you don't want to utilize, you do not have to. It is there for your benefit, but not something that is forced. Like if you guys play the new Pokemon games, the experience share is forced, which I hate. I wish it was optional. Spearcrest, he's pretty cool. I really haven't utilized him, I don't think. I've seen him around the maps, but I've never tamed one. Honestly, there's a lot of dinos that I have as modded dinos on here that I've never tamed, like the Dimantosaurus, or I can't pronounce these names half the time. But yeah, this guy. He's really cool. I've seen him in the wild plenty of times, but I have never tamed one. And they're a special tame. You have to do like some weird thing with them. I love these guys. I've spawned them and tamed. Oh, I don't think I've actually ever tamed them because I suck at tame horses, but I've spawned these a couple times. These guys are cool. Their armor. Once you have that armor on them, you could basically consider that horse unkillable. They will die if, like, in the right situation, but man, that armor adds so much defense that it's crazy. Sunken World. Love this one. Oh, I'm gonna have to quickly go through this because these dogs are gonna start freaking out. Astros, mythological creatures, Archomatic, that's a build mod. This is like a weird Spino. Almost like a Rockwell experiment Spino. Vectospinus, he has like a cooling attack. Super nice. Alpha, Spyglass. I just did this one because I have the Alpha Cryopod already, so I might as well stick with that. I also have the Alpha Submarine, Alpha Terrain, and then the Alpha other thing. Nonona I mentioned earlier in the stream. That's the items and saddles that you get from killing dinos. You have this giant snake that can get a frickin' minigun. A frickin' minigun. That was my Dr. Evil impersonation. Another Armorhead dude. These guys are all cool. Yeah, that's basically the mod set. He's getting into skins. That's my new admin thing. I haven't really figured out how to use it yet. And that's about the gist of it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and have a great day, guys. I'll be back.